Hi, I'm Tandria Tingle, and this is Alana Irvin. She's 18 years old. She'll be headed to college in the fall, in August. So, we're going to talk today about if and when she encounters a student, a person, an adult with autism, and how she would interact with them. So, Alana, have you ever met a person with autism?
Yes, I have.
In what type of setting?
And at like the grocery store.
In the grocery store, what were they doing at the grocery store?
They were like putting the carts. Like they were in charge of like cart put up.
Like getting the carts from the parking lot. I've noticed them sacking groceries at the local HEB.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that too?
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice that when they're stacking my groceries, sometimes I'll say my tone, it goes very like monotone, direct, and straightforward when I'm speaking to them? It's because you have to give them clear and direct instruction. You can't assume that they can interpret what you're saying but not saying, like inferences. Okay? When you're interacting with someone with autism, one thing you should do is show patience. Patience. The way you would show patience is just by allowing them time to, not rushing them to sack your groceries. All right, not telling them you're moving too fast, too slow. Hurry up, so I can go. Or give me that basket. You want to show kindness and patience with them. Okay. What are a few activities? Well, let me just start here. When talking with a person with autism in the community, they may avoid eye contact. When you say good morning, they may very well look off at you and they may say good morning. And you may not know that they're talking to you, but they are talking to you. So they will avoid contact. They don't like loud noises, okay? They don't like unfamiliar places, okay? The way they show distress and their discomfort, they may cover their ears, or stem and look away as they're, walking away, around and around in a circle, fidgeting with hands, okay? So if we were to have a friend to come over and they had an adult child your age, who had autism, what types of activities do you think you could do with a kid your age who had autism?
I don't know, maybe play video games.
Yeah, a video game. They may have interest in certain video games. We don't know what kind. You may have a more advanced video game, but that's something you could sit, interact with them and do. Mm-hmm. Other activities you may want to do, taking turns tossing the basketball. You know how you love basketball? You can go outside on the court and you could take turns, making baskets. That's a way to connect. And with that, you can probably do a counting game. You can talk about, their favorite color, whatever may spark. It may be something in that environment, in that realm that they see that they may want to talk about, that you can try to expound and help them communicate. Because some adults or people with ASD, they have problems communicating and articulating words, forming sentences, things like that. Going for a simple walk, a walk in the community. You could take them to the lake and count fish, look at fish, or just a simple walk. Sometimes you may have to guide them softly, but the key is just being patient with a person with autism. So we're gonna do a little role play. So typically, if you enter the store and you see the greeter, you typically are gonna say what?
Like hi.
Hi, good morning, right? Or good evening, good afternoon. That's just courtesy, how we are in Texas. We're gonna speak to people in passing, right? Well, you may encounter a person working at the HEB that has autism at the door, passing out the weekly flyers, okay? So you may say good morning and they may not say anything and look off, right? So if you really want to engage in conversation because you're interested in this person, in greeting this person, you're gonna say, good morning again, and try to make eye contact. Good morning. You know, that person still may not look at you. You're not going to get offended. You're just going to show patience. They may say good morning or they may not. And you can just accept that. Okay? They don't mean any harm. It's nothing to take offense to. So here's a sheet, a peer instruction intervention sheet. Here's a simple progress monitoring. If you wanted to do an intervention or talk about what steps you would do, what activities you would create for an adult child with autism, this is from the National Professional Development Center on Autism Spectrum Disorder. And so this is a sample progress monitoring form. It's a PMI, activity observation for older children and adolescents. You would fill in the date. Here's your observer. So that would be you, if ever. And here are some simple questions. Did the student participate in the activity after you introduced it? Typically, when working with a student, they very well may not take and want to engage on the first initiation, unless you give them a choice, some options. First, you're going to participate, then you can have the object you want. The first and then system. That seems to work best with students with autism to get anything done. Did the students seem to enjoy the activity? Well, you can gauge. How would you gauge if they enjoyed the activity? Based on what?
Based on like if they were trying to give feedback, or if they were smiling, seemed happy.
If they seem happy, you know, you could tell if this walk to the lake was going well. If the person started to smile or didn't try to run away, avoid the situation. Engage and continue walking, and maybe wanted to walk a little longer, around the lake. Did the activity contain materials? Do you need materials to engage in interaction with a person with ASD?
No.
No. Sometimes you are just good enough. Did the activity promote positive or negative social interaction? So can you give me a positive interaction, an example of some positive interaction with a person with ASD?
Maybe if we were playing like a board game or something, and they just started like getting happy about it.
Okay. So using the same board game activity, give me a negative interaction. What would be a negative interaction in your opinion?
Let's say I ended up beating them, and then like they just tried to storm off.
Or
pout,
or
scream.
Or if they were just upset and bored with that game, they may start to hit at the game, throw the pieces, maybe eat the pieces, depending on the age of the person, okay? But if it's one of your peers, he may begin to fidget, or he may rock, okay? He may try to escape that activity with you because he's not interested, all right? So keep in mind that people with ASD, they are to be approached with patience. They're smart in their own way. They have wonderful abilities. However, you just have to remember that they don't understand certain communication cues as you would, okay? And you would have to just articulate yourself clearly. All right. Well, thank you.